Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of Wales Ales. Over the next couple of minutes I'm going to be trying a new beer I haven't tried before. I'll tell you about the beer, about the brewery, then I'll give it a rating. Now, as you can probably see right in front of me, we're looking at Tiny Rebel, and that could only mean one thing: the much talked about and anticipated new variation of Stay Puft. Now, here's the original. Now that's been around for quite a while, kicking in a nice 5.2. Over the last sort of 2 years or so, Tiny Rebel have been releasing new incarnations of it. Originally there was an Imperial one at 9%, then they followed it up with a chocolate variation, then a chocolate Imperial. I think there was even one with Oreos in it. But where do you go? How many different sort of variations of a marshmallow porter can you have? Well, as Yaz and the plastic population said, the only way is up. There you go, there's a 90s reference for you, showing my age. And by up I mean they've now released an amplified version of it. So when 9% just doesn't hit the spot anymore, you've got to try something a bit more bold. How about 12.8%? Now, this will be very interesting because that's the sort of ballpark that I like. I do like the strong sort of Belgian beers, the quads. I like the Imperials. Stay Puft for me, I've never really loved that much, and that might be because it was very sweet. It's a marshmallow porter, so you would expect that. But I tend to find that with a lot of the Tiny Rebel beers, they've got that sweetness about them, and I like the beers to be a little bit more on the bitter side. But saying that, that's probably why Tiny Rebel are so successful. They're a great transitional brewery. So if you haven't tried craft beer before and you want to try something a little bit different, maybe you like cider before or lagers, and you wanted to try the craft beers, then a nice sweet transitional easy drinking beer will get you in, and that's probably why Tiny Rebel have done so well. But sweetness isn't quite my sort of thing, and the one thing I find with the stronger beers is you can have an element of bitterness in them. So let's see how Tiny Rebel balance that. So there he is, Imperial Stormtrooper on the front there, amplified. He's got his little ghetto blaster there, pumping up the amps. Let's have a look at it. There's a nice strong aroma coming from that already. Very rich tasting. Look at that. Now that's the sort of colour I like. Dark and decadent. The head is fantastic. It's sort of like a coffee coloured sort of head to it, maintaining the thickness there brilliantly. There's a nice bit of sweetness coming through on the aroma of it, and it just looks fantastic. Look at that. Lovely sort of a strong aroma coming through, sort of coffee notes, sort of caramelly as well. Sweetness obviously with the marshmallow. They said they've added more than they ever have done before. Now, I really enjoyed the original variation, the Imperial Stay Puft at 9%, which was released something like 18 months ago. To such an extent, I pretty much had that down as my beer of the year. Unfortunately, I only tried one bottle of it, and Tiny Rebel seemed to have a habit of doing a lot of one-offs, and that variation has not come back again. So, lesson learned there. If you really enjoy the beer and you think it's your beer of the year, maybe keep a few aside. So, let's see what this is all about. Oh, that's fantastic. There's a very big alcohol kick there. You can tell this is a big bad boy. But it's not overpowering. Some very strong beers can be very challenging. I actually had one from a very well-known American brewer, who I won't name out of politeness, and I couldn't decide whether or not at the end of an hour and a half whether or not I enjoyed it enough, because it took me that long to actually drink it. It was very much a sipper, but it was so heavily alcohol led that it was a little bit off-putting. This, on the other hand, is delectable. There's a lovely sweetness to it, lip smacking. You know you've got a strong beer here, but it's superbly balanced. As I was saying before about the sweetness and the bitterness, you've got a nice little bitterness coming through on that, which kind of counters the sweetness. So you get a perfect middle ground on it. Lovely alcohol burn. It really sits in the back of the throat there. It's very lingering. That's sitting at the back of my throat for a long time. Lovely, long, lingering aftertaste. Definitely a sip of this. You really want to be drinking it with a bit of respect, because 9%, that's strong. Ramping it up to 12.8, that's going over the edge. That is fantastic though. My favourite variation of Stay Puft? I don't know. Like I said, that Imperial at 9%, I thought that was brilliant, but I only had one bottle. Is this my beer of the year? I don't know, but it would take some beating to get better than this. Nice, smooth, a complex sort of beer, but superbly well balanced. So I'm going to give that a Wales Ales 9.5 out of 10. Thank you very much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing what the next variation of Stay Puft is. Thank you very much.